Welcome to Minding Your Business, the show for entrepreneurs. I'm your host, June Middleton. We have an incredible all-star group of musical entrepreneurs tonight. There's just so much that I could say about them, but I'm going to let their music speak for themselves. I am just absolutely thrilled and delighted to present to you John B. Williams, Michael Wolff, and Victor Jones. Take it away, gentlemen. Gentlemen, you leave me absolutely speechless. Please come, join me. Let's talk. I'd like to know what's going on with you. John B., thank you. Oh, thank you. Michael, come. Oh, thank you.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. And Victor, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Please come sit. This is just such an incredible thrill for me to have the three of you here. Oh, gee, I never.
We're happy to be here.
Oh, gee.
It's like a reunion for us.
Yes. And John B., I mean, it's just so wonderful of you to come and to bring Michael, to bring Victor. It's just an absolute thrill. I mean, you're an outstanding yourself, an unbelievable bass player, in addition to the fact that you're my favorite brother.
These are my two favorite brothers.
Very good. Okay, what brings you though to New York? I mean, I'd love to think it was just to do my show.
Yes.
But, but what else brought you here to New York?
Well, while
from
I'm here, I'm going to do Lincoln Center, Jazz at Lincoln Center with Nancy Wilson at the Allen Room on Friday and Saturday.
All right, now that will already have occurred. So this
How
is
did it
what.
go?
It was great.
It was great.
He was amazing.
I know it got great reviews.
Yes. Well, Nancy
But, you know,
Nancy
it
is
always
Nancy
does.
is Nancy. When we all work together, that's. Mike and I worked with Nancy for. Michael was Nancy's musical director for
I know it's
a
something
lot
I
of
want
years.
to
When
talk
I
to you
joined
about.
Nancy,
Yeah.
he was the musical director.
Oh, yeah, I
And
know.
it was
Well,
here
I
in New
know
York.
that the three of you, you each have your own groups, but you have also recorded together.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have.
And that's something that I want to talk to you about. But you didn't start out playing the bass. You
No.
started out playing the drums.
Right.
And I know you started out playing the trumpet.
Oh, how'd you know
Did you
that?
start out playing another
I
instrument?
played piano and drums when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Ah, okay.
So we're all drummers.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
And I know that each of you has a particular artist that was sort of like an inspiration, a favorite, and I know for you it was Art Blakely.
Art Blakey, I loved
Art
Art Blakey,
Blakey.
but I loved all the old stuff, Motown and all the Motown from the '60s and
Yeah.
James Brown. Before I was into Art Blakey, but that's my main drum influence.
And I know, Michael, for you it was Cal Jada.
Well, that was my first professional job with Cal Jada. Was a Latin jazz vibist, so it was really fun for me to get to play with him.
That's great. Who was yours? Who did you really start out being mentored by? Or
My first jazz record was Stan Kenton,
Stan
a
Kenton?
concert in progressive jazz.
Oh
Stan
my
Kenton was my
gosh.
first musical influence.
Oh, that is terrific. But also, too, didn't you do a lot of studying or playing with Ron Carter?
Yep, I studied with Ron Carter for 3 years.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's fascinating. I have a lot of bass players on the show. Classical, well, double bass players, and regular acoustic bass players. Every single one of them mentioned Ron Carter. That at some point they've studied with him or they had hoped to work with him. But I mean, you've done both.
Yeah, Ron Carter's the most recorded jazz bass player in history.
Wow.
Just incredible. I'm hoping one day to have him come visit the show.
Yes.
I really am looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he will.
Absolutely. And I know that you have all definitely played together and done a lot of recording together. But how long have you been associated with Michael?
I met Michael when I was doing Nancy Wilson's local television show in California. She had
A local show
she
like
had a
this
local
one?
show,
Yeah.
in
Okay.
California.
Look what happened to her. So
And
there's hope.
one of her musical guests, one of her musical guests was Cal Jada. And the piano player with Cal Jada was this guy right here.
Yeah, it was 72.
And he had hair, he had long hair. He was a hippie,
Oh, you're
he had
kidding.
long hair all the way down. But I loved the way he played. And I made it a point to go over to him on the break and
Right.
introduce myself to him and tell him how much I loved the way he played. And we spoke briefly, and I said, I hope, we'll see each other again. And a few years later, not even a couple of years later, I started working with Nancy Wilson, and my first gig was here in New York at, I think it was Carnegie Hall, or I think it was Lincoln Center. And I go and show up to rehearsal, and the musical director for Nancy Wilson is Michael Wolff.
Oh my gosh. And at what point did you join Michael to play also with Nancy Wilson?
I think that's
mean,
probably
it was
around
1978.
Yeah.
78.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just in
right.
the band a few months, and we changed and got John B.
Isn't that when I met you? Was it 78? No, it was
before that,
before 75. 74, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
74.
I mean, you
wow.
all go
Ronnie
back
Cuber.
so far in your
All right.
associations
Yeah,
and
we
in the
really do.
recordings. And I mean, I know that you've done, what, maybe 100 records or more with different artists and your own. And I mean, it's just absolutely incredible that.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah.
It's been a blessing.
I mean, I talk to a lot of, this is a show for entrepreneurs, and I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, though, who are musical or performing entrepreneurs, whether they be classical, jazz, rock, fusion, acid rock, whatever it might be. And the one thing, though, that I mainly always want to know from you is, what do you do? This is a tough time. What do you do to market yourselves to keep your name going and because clubs are not as they used to be here
Right.
in New York. So do you find yourself doing a lot of traveling to play your music, and it's the internet with records the way that everything goes now?
Well, even traveling is not really enough because I mean the clubs, everything is kind of slowed down and just all over the country. You know, the internet has been a saving grace for a lot of us for record sales and promotion and marketing.
Yeah, and we're doing your own.
I think all the young musicians that I see, young meaning, maybe under 40 or whatever,
Yeah.
they're all about the internet. They got their
Yeah.
Facebook and their Twitter
YouTube
and all that.
yeah.
And it's all, I mean, they're just constantly on it, 3 or 4 hours a day working that computer.
That's
you know.
right.
Well, it's something interesting that I'd like to ask you about, Michael. It's been said that nobody knows what to expect, though, when you walk into a recording studio.
Right.
What does that mean? I mean, are you that much? I mean, you don't approach music from an intellectual standpoint. You do it from your mood and your feeling, or tell us about what your process
you mean if I'm
is
going to
for-
make my own record? Oh, I've just had different bands, and I've tried. I just get experimental, and I want to. I think Victor's the same way, and actually John's the same way. When the first band I heard of John, I think it was Expectations. That blew my mind. In the '70s, before we were even playing together. But I guess I try to. I wouldn't say it wasn't intellectual, but I try to follow whatever my instincts are of the music I want to do. Often it's not really with what's going on in the, I don't know, right now there's not even a music scene, not like we were saying, it's just all, you might as well just do what you want to do because it doesn't matter. But I think for me, going in, it's just whatever. I've done a vocal album, I did an album with this band. We had 3 of us were in for a long time called Impure Thoughts.
Oh.
In fact, that tune, St. Thomas, we did was one from that Dangerous Vision album from the Impure Thoughts band. And then and lately I've been playing more sort of regular straight ahead stuff, and then
But you've also you produced and directed a movie, and you've written movie scores.
Well, I never directed a movie, but I produced a few movies and television shows, and I've done some movie scores. That's a whole other thing to do a movie score. It's like kind of making shoes. You gotta fit the music to the movie and what the director wants and what's going on there. So it's that's kind of exciting because something else controls what the music is.
And I have to ask you this. I hope it doesn't throw you off balance at all.
Well,
Did you
let's
do
see.
stand-up comedy at one time?
I did. I did. Hard to believe. I did it for about 5 years in the late '80s.
Oh my
I
gosh.
did it at the Improv in New York.
And how
and the
did
West Bank.
that work out?
I loved it. I did it kind of at the piano like Victor Borge, but jazz. So, I talked a lot about funny jazz stuff, and I did a thing where I said, Billie Holiday was really this guy, Wild Bill Holiday, and he was playing this gig, I don't know why, that I'm feeling so bad. And these kids had these helium balloons, and he tried it. I learned to trust love and kissing.
Okay, I'm
But the
convinced.
problem- but the
You
problem-
stand up.
But the problem with the stand-up was, what I did, it was kind of inside, more jazz humor. So if 2 in the morning for a bunch of high school prom kids, it wasn't always paying off.
Now, you've just released another album.
Well, one's been out, for a while. It's called Joe's Strut, and it's dedicated to Joe Zawinow, who's a keyboard player, who's a really good friend of mine. And,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
we're seeing it at this point.
Right.
And I mean, that's just, it's so impressive. And I know that there's an album that the 3 of you also played on. That was Impure
Right.
Thoughts.
Yeah, that was Impure Thoughts, and we did a trio record called Jazz, Jazz.
Oh,
Which I couldn't find to bring the cover, but yeah.
yeah.
So-
And Victor, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us this evening. I
Oh,
mean, I know that you
you're
have
quite
another
welcome.
gig, and I mean, to
Oh, well, like you said, you have to do as much as you can.
Now, you did actually start out playing the trumpet, didn't you?
I did,
And
and I still play.
do you really?
Yeah.
But not in your band?
Well, I do play in my band because I'm the only one that would hire me.
You did stand up too?
No, I did sit down. No, but
I'll vouch for that.
I do.
Because you can see him when you're hanging out on the road and he gets up in the morning, he's practicing his trumpet.
No, but I do. I still do sessions and little weird little things, little TV commercials or little pop things that aren't so difficult. And
Well,
somebody wants
there's a
mood.
sample on this keyboard right
That
there, this
keyboard
Casio
has
keyboard.
got me
That's
on there.
Victor
That's
playing the
true.
trumpet, and he's the guy who did the sample.
That's a sample on all the
170
Casio keyboards.
Number 172.
Oh,
Remember
my
that,
gosh.
kids.
Yeah, remember that.
Now, you have played in so many different musical genres. What is the main, do you feel, musical direction?
I can't find anybody to play with. Well, the main, I don't know. There's certain things in jazz.
Rappers and hip hop.
Yeah, I've done that, and well, it's kind of easy for a drummer, and I can't see why any drummer wouldn't want to do that because the rhythms are so interesting. I played in Latin bands and I played in R&B bands, and it's just just when you hear the rhythm, it's like you just want to emulate it, and so.
Well, I've heard that it's been said about you that you can play a chair and make it sound good.
Oh,
He definitely.
well,
Right?
only
it's true.
plastic chairs. The wooden ones I stay away from.
And you have an album out also, because you have your own band,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, it's his kids. He has 5 kids. That's his own band.
That's my own band. No, they aren't. The kids aren't in my band. But I do have 5 kids. But my album, the name of my band is Cultureversy because it's a lot of.
How did you come up with that name? It's
Well,
very
because I
unusual.
have a German bass player. I have a keyboard player from Argentina. I have somebody scratching. He's from Japan.
Oh.
And I have a
Now,
Puerto
when you say
Rican
scratching,
singer.
that's a DJ.
As a DJ, he has his turntables. And I have a singer from Puerto Rico, so it's different cultures creating American acid jazz music.
So
Did I
what
make
what
myself
is
clear
though the
today?
trend
June,
or
it's
is
hard out
there?
here being a pimp. That's all I have to say. You know,
It ain't easy.
there's no trend that we can see. The trend is it's hard out here being a pimp. Academy Award winning song from Hustle and Flow. That said it all. When that won the Academy Award,
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
right.
wrong.
I love that. I love that.
Terrence Howard.
That's the direction.
Terrence Howard.
I really wasn't expecting
That's where
this
we're
from
going. That's our
You know,
next
the
job.
more
Pimpin'.
versatile you are, the better it is.
Right. Well, I mean, you're a delight without a doubt to talk to.
We've been trying to tell people that over the years, and they don't seem to want to. Between sets, come to the bar and talk to us. So it's usually the 3 of us alone, just sipping some kind of little cognac.
Speaking of sipping, I know that you have done jazz theater out on the West Coast,
Yeah.
and I know a scene from one of your theaters there. People are sitting at a bar sipping.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to hear more of your music right now. But I'd like to know, in fact, we have a clip, I believe, of you and Jessica Williams, your wife, doing your jazz theater in
Yeah.
LA. And I think it would be great if we could look at that clip to see what your jazz theater is like.
God bless the child that's got his own. Yeah.
You know, I remember, this goes back a while, Lainey Kazan sang about your wife singing that she can sing her you-know-what off.
Yeah.
I played with Lainey Kazan.
Did you
And
really?
we saw her in the, in the Japanese
Well,
restaurant.
she's got
in
a
LA.
great voice, but I'd like to hear the voices of your music again. So please,
Oh, good,
if you'll
okay.
just take off your mics.
And you're going to do one, John?
Yeah. And just if you'll just go over and get ready, and to play another song. And just before you get started, though, just go on over, if you will. Yeah. And I know that. John B., you've done a lot of the posse, right?
The posse. The posse.
Yeah, but would you do one of your spoken word pieces for us? I
I'd be
think the
happy
one
to.
that you do bass, what's it
Bass
called?
calling out.
Bass calling out. Go ahead, please.
There's nothing like a bass calling out from the downstairs window of a village nightclub on a sweltering summer night. Halos around street lamps. People moving slowly, taking their time, no hurry. Can't sleep anyway. Staring at the ceiling fan that doesn't work. Waiting for that breeze that doesn't come. 1,000 radios turned on against the heat. Passing the time, passing the time. And then you hear a song from somewhere that reminds you of some time riding the thick air, falling like a star, rising like a sleeping lover, sweat glistening above her lips. And the music takes me away, breaks my heart, and sings me to sleep. Now we'd like to play a song from Michael Wolff's brand new album, Joe Strut. And Mike we're gonna do the title song, Joe Strut.
thank you very much to my very special guests, my talented brother, John B. Williams, the incredible composer and piano player, Michael Wolff, and the musical drumming genius of Victor Jones. Thank you to the crew, to Ed Middleton, and a very special thanks to Rich of Manhattan Neighborhood Network for making this show possible. You've been watching Minding Your Business. I'm your host, June Middleton. See yourself where you want to be, and thank you for watching.